One of the most talked about, praised, and scrutinized rookie in the entire NFL was Justin Fields. There was a ton of confusion around his rookie year, a constant back and forth on who was the starter, him or Andy Dalton. There was a continuous chants and wishes from Bears fan to fire Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, who took the brunt of the blame for the team's struggles. But I did a deep, and I mean deep, film review on Justin Fields, going over every single one of his drives from the 2021 season, and I am here to clear up the fog when it comes to, do we look at the numbers where he appears to be one of the league's worst quarterbacks, or do we look at some of the highlights where he looks like one of the most explosive and dynamic quarterbacks in the entire league with a top 5 arm and some of the best legs? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Who's at fault for the Bears' struggles? Where do we see him progressing from here? We are going to answer all of that and more. There is a ton to get into, so let's look at some film. And before we get into the first bit of film, one of the things we need to look at is that anyone can see he had the 24th most passing attempts in the league, but he was sacked 11th most in the NFL. On the flip side of this, Justin Herbert had the most passing attempts in the league, but was sacked 22nd most in the league. Now the question is the Bears offensive line really that bad, or is it Justin Fields running into sacks and holding on the ball for way too long? And it's mainly, in my opinion, the first option, but it also has to do with some bad play calling and lack of checkdowns and quick throwing options in their schemes. But let's look at some plays where the Bears offensive line just did Justin Fields dirty. And when looking at all the games, I don't think there was a better example than the Week 7 matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that showed the shortcomings of the Bears offensive line than in this game. He was strip sacked 3 separate times, and all 3 times it was less than 3 seconds after the ball got snapped. On this first one, Antoine Winfield Jr. is coming off the edge with Shaq Barrett, getting hit harder than any other rookie this year. We think back to the preseason Bills game where he got his helmet taken off. Shaq Barrett gets another one when Justin Fields is trying to release it. And then on this third one, I think JPP got a little bit jealous. He wanted one as well. This is 3 strip sacks in a row, but nothing is worse than this next one where they go max protect. They block 7 people on this play. And when you go to block 7, you have 3 routes. They are longer developing routes, but there is no check down on this. And Justin Fields is running for his life. He has to scramble away from the pressure immediately just to pick up 1 yard on this play. And these are just a few examples that emphasize how Justin Fields almost had no time to throw, and he was running for his life a majority of his rookie year. And now in these next 8 clips, we can start to daydream a little bit. When the Bears played like a really, really good offensive line and they give Justin Fields a clean pocket, we can really see his arm talent and ability start to show and how accurate he can truly be. So again, against the Lions, this is a beautifully clean pocket. This might even be the thumbnail of the video because this is not what Justin Fields got a lot of the time. But as a single high safety, he's looking off the safety the entire way. He's coming back to Darnell Mooney, who I predicted before they even started would have a huge year if they were able to protect him with his speed. 45 yards on a rope. I mean, I can't tell you how difficult this pass is to make. Look off the safety to the left, come back to him. 45 yards on the rope, perfectly thrown. The margin for error on this throw is so small, and I think Darnell Mooney is going to have an explosive year. He already had 1,000 yards this season, but I think he'd be a 1,300, 1,400 yard receiver if Justin Fields is allotted more time because his double moves are lethal, and almost nobody can cover him once he gets into open space. And it's just plays like these where Justin Fields just does not look like a rookie. You can look at this and say when he has a clean pocket, no quarterback in the NFL could place this any better, and his arm talent is right up there with anyone else in the league. So he has a clean pocket, and he's going to layer this ball perfectly to Allen Robinson right over the corner's head, right before the safety, and not leading him out of bounds. He's able to get this huge completion. And this is what we saw time and time again. These are the throws we saw him make all the time at Ohio State. Because at Ohio State, he had all the time in the world to throw. Just like this, when he can get a clean pocket, even if they're going to max protect, he can layer these throws in between linebackers, between corners, and just place the ball on a rope to his receivers downfield. And I'm not even going to show you many clips of him running the ball because we all know he has a high 4.3, low 4.4 speed. But in the NFL, you're going to have to throw the ball, and you're going to have to throw the ball accurately. He understands. He sees Kendricks right now. He doesn't have eyes on the ball. So he's going to be able to high point this ball, let his tight end go up and get it. This is a high-level NFL throw. And if you want to make it in this league, you're going to have to make throws like this consistently. And it is much, much easier to make these throws when you have a clean pocket like this, which a lot of quarterbacks have the luxury that Justin Fields just hasn't this year. And this is when you can just really start to look and say the numbers don't match the film. When he has time in the pocket, when he has time to throw, he makes these really difficult timing passes look so routine. He's able to step up in a clean pocket, go through his progressions, laser it down to the sideline. The velocity of the ball is great. We can talk about his form in a little bit because I think that is something that he can work on a little bit. Movement in the pocket, going through his progressions, finding Darnell Mooney once again. And when you can let him just get into his rhythm, just able to take a 3-step drop and a hitch, step into his throw. His ball placement is amazing. This is a huge conversion on this play, and I just really think we don't talk about this enough when we talk about Justin Fields' rookie year. But no, Justin Fields is not perfect. Or on this play right here where he makes his offensive line look terrible. They give him a really good pocket, but he just absolutely runs right into the sack. Or like Peyton Manning always says, one fumbled snap in a season is one too many. We just cannot have mistakes like this, and this is where he really just started to look like a rookie. Or on this play right here, this is right before the half. They're trying to set up a field goal, which they end up missing. This is a very routine throw to David Montgomery on the outside. He steps into it, the line gives him a really good pocket, and he just flat out misses his mark. And this would have been a much easier field goal attempt, which they ended up missing. This would have been huge going into halftime. And then there was a lot of head-scratching throws like this one as well, where you just throw it up, and even if it's going to be on target, it's going to be into triple coverage. You just got to sail this ball into the 5th row and just take your loss on this one. Throwing an interception backed up in your own end zone. When you have a guy that has a step, he just egregiously underthrows him on this play. And this is where Justin Fields just really looked like a rookie on a lot of these throws. But where do we see Justin Fields going from here? The progression, they fired Matt Nagy, they fired Ryan Pace, and they hired another Matt and another Ryan. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is this Bears team. They're still going to have their downfalls, but can Justin Fields overcome this? And plays like this really makes me think he can. He has 2 people in his face right now, and this is when it's just a total collapse of the Bears offensive line, and he's still able to step in and make throws like this to Jimmy Graham. How many quarterbacks in the league can make this throw? This is Justin Fields, the rookie, who is a lot more known for his running ability than he was his outstanding arm talent coming into the draft, even though we knew he could make throws like this and he had all the arm talent in the world. This is a high-level NFL throw, and there is almost nobody outside of the people like Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes that can make a throw like this. And when you're not always going to be able to step into your throws. So what happens when he has a guy in his face? I know there's a lineman in between him, but this is uncomfortable. This is not the most comfortable place to put a ball in, to throw it into it. He's not able to make his full follow through, but still able to make these high level accurate passes, just completely layering it between the corner and the safety on this play. And on the last one we're going to look at against the Steelers, he's going to get this little play action fake and boot out to the left, which is going to lead us into our next segment on how good he is throwing it on the run. So he has a guy in his face right now. He's falling back, leaning away, rolling to his left, and putting it on an absolute rope. And he's going to put it right on time so his tight end can get both feet in bounds and complete the catch. And what I would like to see a lot more from the Bears next year is what you can do to compensate for a bad offensive line is a lot of boot action. And Justin Fields is one of the best throwers on the run that I have seen. And here's a few clips to prove this. I think this is Justin Fields' best throw of the entire 2021 NFL season. So really taking the pressure off your line by getting out. Not only does it kind of cut the field in half, which is a disadvantage, but he's also able to take off and run it. But he also can make throws like this. I mean, how beautiful is this? You have a linebacker in a corner. This window, he's able to put it on his receiver's back hip. Any margin of error, this pass is either tipped or it's picked off, but Justin Fields puts it on the absolute perfect location where he's able to put it. He can't overthrow it because he's going to leave the receiver right out of bounds if he puts any loft on it, but he zips it right in, puts it in his back pocket, and completes this amazing throw. We're going to watch that one more time because I believe this was his best throw of the entire year. And if the spotting in the ball looks very familiar, that's because this is the very next play from that last one. But this time we're going to roll out to the left. We're going to work the hashes. We're going to go right, left, and Damiere Byrd just flat out drops this ball. I understand this could be a little bit lower and the ball placement wasn't perfect on this, but you got to make this catch. If this was Mooney or Allen Robinson, this is absolutely a completion. But rolling out to your left, getting him open in space, really taking the pressure off your offensive line is huge, and I would like to see the Bears run that a lot more. And in a huge game against the 49ers, this is a pick six ball right here, just waiting to happen. You're going to get him out on the edge, rolling out to your left, and the precision, but the confidence in this to throw this, kind of running, be an athlete, make this throw, put it in the perfect location on the outside pylon. This is the throwing ability that Justin Fields showed throughout his entire rookie season when he has a clean pocket, when he's able to overcome a bad offensive line. He has had his fair share of rookie blunders and moments, but again, overall, I really just don't think the numbers match up. And we're going to finish this off with two plays, grown NFL men, a team that was just in the NFC Championship game that he just did that to. And right here, just the explosiveness. This isn't anything too flashy. He has a lot better running highlights than this, but I picked these two just to show the pure ability and his Madden-like wiggle skills. On the first clip and on the second clip, when he's going through his reads, he has a clean pocket. And then he decides right now to take off and run. And when he takes off, in a blink of the eye, he's 10 yards down the field. And that is just so scary. And that's the ability. He gets down and slides. That's very Russell Wilson-esque, even though he is much, much faster than Russell Wilson. So I went into this film analysis with an open mind, not really knowing what to think. I watched a lot of Bears games. I think I pretty much watched every single Bears game. I didn't watch as intently when Andy Dalton, because I've seen Andy Dalton in the league for 10 plus years. So I know what he's all about. When Justin Fields, I was glued to the TV and watching him. And then you kind of go back after the season, reflect, and you look at his numbers, and it was like, maybe it wasn't all as impressive as I thought it was. But then you see what happens when you break down what the schemes looked like with Matt Nagy's offense when he was calling the plays, what it looked like when the offensive line broke down, and what he was able to do with his arms and legs. Yes, of course, he had his fair share of rookie blunders, but every rookie is allowed these. And he did have a fair share of interceptions that were just completely uncalled for, and there were times where he made his offensive line look much worse than they were, running into stacks, running into strip sacks, and just trying to do too much. But in the end of the day, when I saw Justin Fields with a clean pocket that we see a lot of quarterbacks, we saw Tom Brady, we see guys like Jimmy Garoppolo, we have see guys with really good offensive lines have all the time in the world, and they're stepping into their throws. And when Justin Fields had that opportunity, he took full advantage of it, and he looked like a top 10, top 5 quarterback with his arm talent, the way he was able to place his ball. And I said I was going to mention his technique earlier, and like a golf swing, you really want to keep your back swing and your front swing around the same speed. I really think Justin Fields on his throwing motion forward, it can be a little too fast, a little too whippy, and slow on the back release. I would really like to see him clean it up. If he wants to watch any Tom Brady film, how he comes over the top, or Mahomes when he does his angle throws, I really think he can learn. And when we saw Josh Allen make his improvements in his mechanics from year 1 to year 2, I really hope Justin Fields is willing and able to put in the work. And I hope this new regime for the Chicago Bears is really going to take care of him, because I really don't think it's going to matter as much who Justin Fields is throwing it to, because the balls are pretty much catching themselves. I think it's going to be a lot more important to build this offensive line, give him time to throw, give him running lanes, give him time to make these deep throws to Darnell Mooney down the field, and I think he's going to have a huge second year. But let me know what you guys think. What did you guys think about Justin Fields' season? If you like this video, make sure to leave a like. If you comment down below what you thought of Justin Fields, do you think his numbers reflect how he played this season, or do you think he's much better than what I even labeled out in this video? Make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you so much for checking out the channel, and as always, I will see you all tomorrow. Peace!